Back at the Sydney Football Stadium, the rain continuing to fall, not heavily, but damp conditions apply. The St George supporters huddled under the protection, what there is here at the Sydney Football Stadium. And we are in weekend one. Another elimination quarterfinal coming up. St George, they've won 4 of the last 6 encounters. Let's have a look at their side and the significant return of captain Mark Coyne. He partners Graham Bradley, the deputy captain, who did a fine job in Coyne's absence. And Gordon Tallis in the forward line is arguably the best forward going around in the game at the moment. Brian Smith, the coach, and of course they'll be trying to win for him because he leaves the club at the end of the season no matter what. The Bulldogs, and there they are, with McCracken on the bench, Glenn Hughes in the centres, and of course the notable absentee again is Jason Smith, a player that they would dearly love to have out there today. So the great Terry Lamb takes out the blue and whites. He plays game 323 today. Dream in rugby league to captain a grand final winning side. These two sides clashed in the 1993 series. St George were en route to the grand final, and I remember their tactic well. They aimed their first half attacking raid straight at Terry Lamb. He'd made more than 20 tackles at half-time. St George happy that Mark Coyne is back. The red and whites, the famous Saints, second only on the honour roll to the mighty South Sydney. Come with a great run to make the quarters. Strong in the forwards, the Saints. Barnhill, Stevens, Goulet. We've discussed Tallis. Eddie Ward is the man in charge. So we deduce that Ward is at number 1, Manson at number 2 at the moment. St George right to left. And the second elimination quarter-final is underway with the Bulldogs' first use of the football. And that is Gillies just beyond his 20-metre line. Hetherington losing his footing. A sign of things to come, maybe. Rain has been falling lightly in Sydney right through the day. East to northeast winds, 20 degrees forecast. As we go into the first stanza of this match, first set of 6, first use of the football, and Terry Lamb drives it down inside the St George 30-metre line, and there's Maybon, taken by the youthful Glenn Hughes and Brett Dallas. And that is Donnelly, the winger. Been in and out of first grade. He's a very strong player. That's Bartram. Plays at the back of the scrum for St George. And find Barnhill unloading through Brown and a break. Mundine, he's opened them up. Good work, Stevens, to get there. Mundine keeps it alive. Now it's Zisti, fends away from Timu. Oh, there was the line wide open. Still a chance here for the Dragons. Brown rolls it in, it's a try. He lost it. An inquiring look by Mundine.
Oh, tragedy for the Saints. Magnificent break made through a David Barnhill offload, and then this little kick on the end of it. Here's the players who can offload like this are worth their weight in gold, let me tell you. Creates all sort of opportunities, and Mundine made the most of it right up the middle there. Some more work by Mundine. Great opening stanza by him, and Zisti nearly got there. Looked to throw the pass and hung on to it. I thought the Sydney Bulldogs were all offside. The penalty could have gone to Saints, but a bombed opportunity for them.
Not one opportunity, but 2 opportunities. Went begging for St George. Polomouta keeps it low. Maybon away. Good day for the kick. And there'll be plenty of it. Polomouta, Lamb, Goldthorpe. As the ball comes free, and Ward is going to put a scrum down. Here's a good chance coming up for the Bulldogs. Donnelly, the offender.
A 3-man Bulldog tackle being ripped out there, no doubt about it, by Glenn Hughes.
So it's the Bulldogs coming away from the scrum win. It is Glenn Hughes, in fact, playing the ball. There's no doubt he raked the ball away from Donnelly, the St George winger. Now, 12 metres out from the Saints line. This is Dean Pay. Brown hangs on with Gordon Tallis. A little bit of a jostle up as they go left. And Robert Ralph plays it now, close to the line. Hetherington away, Dimmick, got it away, but it's forward. Well positioned, Eddie Ward.
Oh, shades of State of Origin in Melbourne, that one. The Timmy Brasher try. Dimmick held it up, and then popped it, no doubt, though. Went forward, well positioned by Eddie Ward.
Exciting start to this one, Steve.
Yeah, it's been outstanding. There's a new understanding between the referee and the in-goal touch judge. If he stands on the dead ball line, that is a try. If he comes in the field of play, that is no try.
Thank you for that. Tallis.
And that is
flung down.
That is good news come semi-final time.
Mundine. Picked up and carried back by the Bulldogs. Big Stevens, only a youngster. And now Goulet. Saints will be hoping for Goulet to take his good form through the semi-final series. Goldthorpe had a marvellous game last weekend. And that ball is back on the 10-metre line. Darryl Halligan, who went past the 1,000 points last weekend. Now, Dallas comes over from his right wing and runs into Tallis. Aggressive Gordon Tallis, talking with players in marvellous form. What about him? They take a play on the blind side and Dean Pay runs into Tallis again. They've already singled each other out a couple of times. 32 metres out now from the Bulldogs line. Dimmick turning Gillies back into the centre. Inside ball. Last tackle now for Terry Lamb. Puts it into space. It takes a right-hand turn back to Maybon. And there it's Polamaunta and Timu that put the St George #1 to the ground.
Both the last times the teams have kicked on the last tackle, there's been opportunities to spin the ball out wide. There's been some defence lacking. I think it'll only be a matter of time before the experienced players like Goldthorpe and Terry Lamb see this and spin the ball on the 5th tackle.
Barnhill now spirals away. The pass is on for Maybon. And he's tackled just inside the 40-metre line. Brown at first receiver. Stevens the ball carrier. 5 tackles gone now for St George. Goldthorpe. Kick over the top of the centres. And Dallas is cut down by Mundine. There they are in relation to their own line as they bring it away now through Rod Silver. And Phil Gould, who joined us last night, the New South Wales coach, is with us again today.
Yeah, Ray, busy day for the wingers and fullbacks today. Wet weather conditions, kicking's going to play a very big part. Interesting that Canterbury have gone with Halligan on the left wing and Brett Dallas on the right wing. They like to change their wingers around Canterbury. Obviously, Dallas on the very speedy Jason Donnelly.
This is the last tackle now for the Bulldogs, and Lamb's kick is too full. So this will be a good opportunity for the Saints. The turnover 35 metres out.
Great pressure there by Nathan Brown, who came from behind to put the kicker under a great deal of pressure.
Always good tactics in wet weather football to kick before tackle 5 in your own half. You will get a lot of pressure on tackle 5 from chasers. You've got to kick before they're ready, because in wet weather it's very hard to clear your own area.
And there's a mistake forced by the Bulldogs on the second tackle. Oh, good defence by them. The ball came loose from the grasp of Jason Stevens.
Well, neither team's holding back in defence there. A big shoulder charge by Dean Pay on Jason Stevens, who never had control of the football. Stevens very slow to his feet. just getting up to the scrum now.
Terry Land working the scrum. Polomouta at 5'8", and with the ball now. Across now for the New Zealander, John Timu. Dimmick. They're just outside their own 30-metre line as they make this surge down the left of the ground. Big Darren Britt reaches the halfway line and crosses it. Hetherington calling on him for a quicker play of the ball. Through from Terry Lamb and on for Polomouta and across for Hughes. And he's tackled on the halfway line. No score on the board, 8.5 minutes gone. Timu able to get it away. Polomouta puts a kick in and just over the touchline. Dallas tried to keep it in.
Again, waiting to tackle 5 there before the kick. In wet weather conditions, I still think it's important to kick early. The Canterbury have come up with the feed here through a deflection.
Silva and St George. They've been pinched for inside the 5 at the scrum. Differential penalty. They go ahead, and the Bulldogs, the attack snuffed out by Mark Coyne on Polomouta. Hetherington, here's the call to the right by Darren Britt. One of the Canterbury players has been poleaxed. Let's have a look at this on replay.
Penalty will go to the Sydney Bulldogs here. Robert Ralph looming up in support. Oh, Gordon Tallis. Well, he hasn't been sent off or put in the bin, but he's been chastised by the referee with the determination on Tallis's face.
So the penalty has gone to the Sydney Bulldogs. And Tallis, he may still have come out of this second best. Trainer working on that left shoulder.
Robert Ralph is off to the blood bin, courtesy of the Tallis hit. And Mitch Newton has gone on.
He just smashed him, didn't he? Tallis. Darryl Halligan, from almost right in front, gets the first points of the elimination quarter-final. St George trailing the Dogs 2-0 after 10. 2-0. The Bulldogs, a penalty off the boot of Darryl Halligan. Robert Ralph in the blood bin. Simon Gillies plays it on his own 20-metre line. And that is Dean Pay, who's had a very strong start to the game. He's really taken the St George pack on. This is Mitch Newton, who's on in the place of Robert Ralph at the moment. Dimmick goes ahead and Stevens is there with Goldthorpe, and down around the legs is Goulet. 40 metres out as Lamb again goes for the kick. Across and taking it back in field and away from the sideline is Maybon. Bradley scampers in and waves Donnelly out to first receiver to take it away, the winger. 35 off their own line, St George. Trailing 2-0. A penalty on Tallis for taking a player not in possession out of the game. Goulet operating on that corridor down the right. This is Bartram. Now from Goldthorpe, on for Brown. He's found himself out in that position several times. Oh. Tallis wears one from Dean Pay.
And doesn't like it, gets up, pushing and shoving. Pay still on the deck. And Tallis made the half break and Pay came over the top and smashed it. There's no love lost between these two sides. Both aggressive forward packs. They've been hitting very hard in defence. And Dean Pay looking to assert some authority out there today.
Just looking at a close-up of those Gordon Tallis eyes. He's got eyes like Blocker. Just blinking there at Dean Pay.
I think Dean Pay there giving Gordon Tallis a reminder that he's still around. I mean, Gordon Tallis has already sent one Canterbury player to the blood bin. He didn't want him to think he's had a victory out of that, just to let him know there was plenty of fire left in the Canterbury side let.
So St George take the penalty. The tap will be taken 30 metres away from the Bulldogs line. They don't go through the conventional tap free. They work down the blind, as St George loves to do. And this is Goldthorpe. They've got the entire ground to operate to on the right. Donnelly takes one in field. Now from Brown. Cross for Stevens. Goulet was looking for it. He's lost it, and it's a penalty. This time he's pinched the Bulldogs for dispossessing St George of that football. He missed one earlier, Eddie, but he didn't miss this one. And this will be the equaliser.
Yeah, Mitch Newton, the man deemed to be guilty, as Stevens goes to ground, and Newton going right on with the tackle there.
Nice little pattern run there by St George. They crammed a couple of little plays down the near sideline here, condensing the Canterbury defence. Stevens was just working one for position there. They did have a good deal of numbers over on the right-hand side. Probably a pattern we'll see later in the game. They're condensing them up in one side of the field, looking to hit to the far side on about tackle 3 or 4.
Glenn Hughes has gone off for some attention. Wayne Bartram, an easy kick for him, similar to Halligan's. And there's the equaliser. It's 2 points all after 15. Back at the Sydney Football Stadium, 15 minutes gone, 2 points all. The Dogs and the Dragons, one of them will drop out today. 30 metres out from their line, and Stevens passes, and they might pay a very expensive penalty.
He's a fine player, Jason Stevens, but these sort of pressure passes aren't needed in your own 20-metre zone. Didn't have to be thrown. Mark Coyne just standing out there. Had the arms ready for it, but a very poor pass indeed.
Mark Coyne with a very heavily strapped right hand there with his broken wrist in recent weeks. That ball went directly to his bad hand. He just couldn't get a grip on it.
Terry Lamb working this scrum. Can they convert the St George mistake into points? This is Matthew Ryan. Handy player to have on your bench. Come to the right for one more with Dimmick. An exhibition of his strength. He reaches the 20-metre line. They go to the right again. Dean Pay. 15 out. A quick play the ball. That might help. Brick goes charging at the line. Barnhill goes up the top. Goulet underneath. Hetherington dummy half. Lamb is with it now. He pushes it on. Then they turn it in. Gillies is with it. And the Dogs are 9 metres out on 5. Lamb comes to the right. It's with Dimmick. He throws the dummy on the bounce for Timu. Danger for St George has been snuffed out momentarily. And now a knock on by Barnhill. More pressure for St George. A smile on the face of McCracken.
Oh, some scrappy play there from the Sydney Bulldogs. In the end, it's turned out a tragedy for the mighty Saints. The ball goes loose here through Timu, and Dallas simply toes it through. Barnhill couldn't pick it up.
Well, they work on the blind side after winning the scrum, and this is Dallas. Wondering whether the referee obstructed Barnhill's vision of that kick. Hetherington, 2 metres out from the line. Will Canterbury be the first to score? Timo away from Ryan for Halligan. Infield pass, knocked down by the blue and white.
Oh, some great defensive work here by Mark Coyne. They just held off and held off. Coyne and Zisti Just look at them, they've read it so well and forced the mistake from the Bulldogs.
It's probably the one problem with Canterbury's play and the reason why they're well down in the try-scoring list in comparison with the other 7 top 8 sides is that they can't get the ball to the edges of the field as quickly as the other good sides. The Ricky Stewart long pass, Terry Lamb and Craig Pollamount are very good players, but they don't have that quick long passing game the other sides enjoy. As a result, they find it very hard to get the ball to the wings quickly enough to give them time.
And a testimony to that comment is 468 points for the Dogs as against 583 for St George.
They scored 66 in the last game.
Well, that's exactly right. I was just going to make that point. The Cowboys actually did the Bulldogs points for a very big favour. This is Donnelly. And they're just beyond their own 20-metre line. Interesting to note that St George haven't played a top 8 side in their last 9 games. So I don't know whether that's the right preparation coming into a quarter-final. Good quick passing, and then an infield kick by Zisti, and it has turned Silva around and back to his own line. Silva. Tackle eventually made by Mundine. He could have just left him live there and picked up a penalty.
Very good kick by Nick Zisti there. It's not easy under the best of conditions to control the ball while you're on the run there down a tight sideline, let alone in these greasy conditions, and it certainly puts St George on the ascendancy here now.
Sideline Steve Rowe to report on Glenn Hughes.
Yeah, Glenn Hughes has a corked hip. I was surprised that they used Matthew Ryan. I think the Bulldogs need a straight runner out there off Terry Lamb. If they're sliding like that in the defence of St George side, I think they should use Jared McCracken.
Here's another penalty going to the Dragons. Against the marker for not releasing the man trying to play the ball, Jason Stevens. 2 points all, 21 minutes almost gone. Weekend 1 of the 1995 Winfield Cup Finals. You're watching it on 9 across Australia and across the Tasman. Bradley, who captained so well in the absence of Coyne. Now, Brown. Away for Mundine, on for Stevens. Stevens has been involved in every set of 6. He might have made a couple of mistakes, but I'll tell you what, he's working hard. Now they're 12 metres out from the line. A bit of a scuffle up in back play between Stevens and Lamb. Brown plays football. Goldthorpe likewise holds it back, and Maybon came off his right hip. And there they are, 10 metres out from the line. As they come left from Bartram for Bradley. He's big and strong. Got a pass down. Dived on by Mundine. Cleaned up by Mitch Newton. It was Bartram, in fact. Brown took a look. Gave it for Goldthorpe. Rolls it in. Silva was there. Well read by the number 1 from Canterbury.
Yeah, beautiful positioning there by Rod Silva. Very experienced fullback. He played most of his senior football at the East Club. Just look at him drift behind the line there. That's great stuff.
Matthew Ryan playing it now. Sloppy played the ball, and he's ruled that he lost it. So it's going to be a scrum feed and loose head for St George on the Bulldogs' 20-metre line.
They'll be waiting for Gordon Tallis here, probably tackle 2 or 3, maybe deck down this left-hand side. St George very good at set plays out of scrums. They've got a few options, but I think Gordon Tallis around tackle 3 could be the man to watch.
Mundine at the end of a long pass, and Tallis just inside the 20-metre line. He's come up without the ball, and referee Eddie Ward will put another scrum down. This time the Dogs will have the feed.
They're bad mistakes to make on the first tackle. Tallis claiming it was reefed out, but it didn't look like that on that occasion. And now a penalty, so the error compounded.
So that's the second time St George have infringed the 5 metres behind the last line of forwards in the scrum. And remember that they are differential penalties. Halligan finds the line 40 metres out. 3-2 penalties, St George. 2-2 the scoreboard. And very, very tight. I tell you what, if you think about it, matches between these two clubs in recent times, the number of them that have been very, very close on the scoreboard is quite incredible. Ryan pushed the pass. Touch judge call, penalty given to St George.
Once again, it's great defence by Mark Coyne. He is in the top 3 defensive centres in the game today. He sizes up every situation, then drives. Look at him drive there. And the ball going forward onto Halligan. So a penalty to Saints.
Just on Mark Coyne, Fatty, I mean, a lot of people wondering whether or not he'd be fitting well today. Professional player with his much experience, the last thing on his mind will be that hand or wrist has been broken in the last few weeks. He'll have that right out of his mind, just concentrating on his job. As you see there, no fear in going in, and a great tackle on his opposite number.
Barnhill now. Brown on for Goldthorpe. Cross for Mundine. Mundine. We saw a little gap there and tried to scoot through it. Timu closes it with Gillies and Coyne a dummy half. Has to make ground on the blind side. He picks up about 7 metres. Gillies is there to make the tackle. Robert Relf is back from the blood bin. He's on the sideline waiting to come back in. Mitch Newton will come off as Bartram is tackled by Hetherington and Lamb, and Barnhill passes to the right for Goldthorpe to keep it on the ground. The weight on the kick is good, but now it finds the in-touch in goal. So 20-metre tap to restart for the blue and whites.
Very intelligent side, St George. Canterbury run a defensive pattern with Craig Polamatta protecting one of his centres almost all the time. In that set, they realised Polamatta was defending on the right. 3 times they came back to the Canterbury left-hand side defence. So they're not only a very good side, they're a very intelligent side as well.
They've made it outside the 40-metre line. They've only used a couple of tackles. This is the start of a good set of 6 as Dimmick plays it now. Through from Lamb. It's out for Polamatta. Puts the kick in on the early tackle.
That's better tactics.
Mabon is back on his own line. He's got to come out from the corner.
That's great tactics.
Loses his footing, and Eddie Ward is now listening to a report from Martin Weeks, the touch judge.
I notice in back play, Graham Bradley has some sort of a problem. And the player being called out is Matthew Ryan.
Steve Roach, you're sitting almost on top of it. What do you think it is?
Yeah, well, Graham Bradley feigned that one. He took Matthew Ryan out first, and then Ryan ran past him and pulled him back. It's amazing the penalty has gone to St George.
Right, Steve. And the penalty to the Dragons, 30 metres out from their own line. The incident involving Matthew Ryan and Graham Bradley. While you're there, Steve, did he get it right?
No, he didn't.
Thank you.
No.
You wouldn't like to embellish on that. Stevens now. And this will be a penalty. Yeah, he's got to penalise the player lying in the ruck. Even if you're a big man like Darren Britton, you find it impossible to get out of there. Here's Darren. Caught up on the play of the ball. The Dragons with Jason Stevens trying to embarrass Darren Britt if they can, and they did that. Now the tap.
Polamatta defending on the Canterbury right-hand side again. It'll be interesting to see St George. They'll probably close a couple down here and then work a long one to the right-hand side, about tackle 3 or 4.
First thing they've got to do, Phil, is hold on to the ball. Barnhill is down, 20 metres out, 18 metres out, in fact. As Nathan Brown sweeps it, Goldthorpe with it, holds it back. And Mundine is held by Timu and Britt. So here they come back to the left. Brown. Cut out Stevens, and Bartram puts it down. Bulldogs come up with it. Polamatta's ball. Bradley making sure that the man with the ball is the last to his feet. Dallas. Well, we said it in the preview. Steve Roach and Paul Vaughton talked about it. Ball control, very important. The lower grades today, it was evident there. Here's Britt to the halfway. 32-10 reserve grade to St George. South got off to a good start in that. He couldn't carry it on. 5 tackles gone. And Baba, was he taken out late? Eddie Ward said no, play on. Saints are with it, 25 off their own line. Mabon for Brown. Brown His first little run out of dummy half. That is Donnelly on the left wing today. Brown. Big Goulet. Funny player in many ways, Scott Goulet. You might think he's having a quiet one, and he hasn't taken the ball up very much. But then you quickly look at the tackle count, and he's the quiet achiever. With 11 tackles, he's one off the pace for the top tackle. That finds the line, 25 out. Far side of the Sydney Football Stadium, off the boot of Noel Goldthorpe. Coyne, of course, pleasing the St George fans with his announcement of a continued stay with the club. Terry Lamb to work this scrum. Halligan comes out to the 30-metre line. Interesting to look at his statistics as a goal kicker, Halligan. Down, very much so. A race between Dallas and Donnelly. And Donnelly is with it for Saints. Bartram's away from Gillies.
That is great skill from Jason Donnelly. That is not an easy task, going down on a rolling ball in these conditions, particularly with a defender all over the top of you.
Stevens got a pass off for Brown. Now, St George. Zisti it was who came up with the loose ball. Maybon is under that strong tackle. Brown. Goldthorpe. On and away for Mundine. Tallis driven into the ground by Pollamouta. 30-metre line. Mundine on. Donnelly with it now. He started it. And that's 5. Stevens. Brown on the blind side. Through the hands, off a Bulldog. It came off the Dogs. I know he didn't play at it, but if it was he that was last off, it'll be a St George feed.
Another grubber put in here by Tallis. I am surprised, Phil, that in these greasy conditions we haven't seen more bombs. I don't think we've seen one yet.
No, well, I thought it'd be a hard day for the fullbacks. They haven't seen much of the ball from kicks at all. A great tactic in this type of weather. Good little short kick from Terry Lamb over on this other side. I go back to Jason Donnelly's great field, but Brett Dallas was right over the top of him. I think if they persevere with that sort of tactic early in the tackle count, it'll be rewarded as well before this game's out.
Now there's a brawl erupted at the scrum. Eddie Ward's gone with the football. He's let them play on. 10 metres out from the Bulldogs line. They're still fighting in the back play. Tallis is letting them go. St George go to the right. They try to keep it alive. Halligan's come up with it. Bulldogs off their own line through Demick. The fight still goes on.
Oh, it's out over the touchline now. Tallis has just thrown 49,000 right crosses.
This has gone longer than the heavyweight title already. They've been blowing for how long now?
Oh, minute 20. Well, it was from the scrum. It had all died down. And then Ralph and Tallis stood up and went toe-to-toe. They went whisker for whisker, and Tallis got right on top. The original scrum. The play goes wide. Oh, hey, yeah, there it is. Robert Ralph threw the firstie, and then he got Brown as well. So he's the instigator, no doubt about it.
I think it'd be long odds that they'll be able to identify Robert Ralph, though.
Well, he's got the noseband on.
So it went on, and on, and on.
Well, we're going to be short in numbers after this one. A couple of incidents involving these players. The referee will take action, no doubt.
Robert Ralph, he's been called over for the first time. There's no doubt that the number 11 owned the swinging fist that was aimed at Nathan Brown's nose. Now, He's put him in the sin bin. Gordon Tallis to the sin bin, and Dean Pay. And he's given St George the penalty.
I think he's got Dean Pay for running in a bit later when the brawl re-erupted. Dean Pay sprinted about 40 metres to run in to have a lash, and that's why he's gone to the bin.
Which one of you said there's no love lost here? That was the understatement of the decade.
I think they're just trying to sort out who is on top.
Well, there's what we believe to be the start of it, with Robert Ralph.
Well, that's out of the old days, isn't it? One from the second row, Fatty.
Yeah. Different tactics there from the Bulldogs. It's hard to understand why 35 minutes into the match.
Ironic that one of the Bulldogs helpers made the comment on radio. I think it was last night that he expected there might be a little bit of fisticuffs in this match today. The kick from Bartram is... Oh, it's landed on the bar and got over. Boarding house scrape of butter, but it's got over.
He's a Queenslander.
Must be a Queenslander.
Ah, he's a genius.
4-2 St George.
Haven't seen that for a long time.
Only Bartram could do it, Fatty. You taught him that one.
But the mistake of Robert Ralph throwing punches in the scrum has cost them 2 points.
So we have an undisputed leader. St George by 2. You'd be enjoying this one, Blocker, down there. A little bit of the old fisticuffs.
Oh, sensational, wasn't it? I really did enjoy that one.
You started to salivate.
I couldn't believe Dean Pay ran in from 50 metres to get involved in it. Him and Tallis have been at each other's throat all game.
Did you throw a couple, Block?
Oh, no, I dodged a couple, actually.
30 metres off their own line. They lead by 2. Bradley! Bradley's away! Won't have the pace! Kicks into the centre! Mundine! Mundine! He gets it! Anthony Mundine made a mistake early, but he doesn't right now. 8-2 the Dragons.
And Craig Colomouta, as Phil Gould said, maybe St. Seam was a weak spot as Graham Bradley went through him, and away he went. This is good stuff by Bradley. He knew he couldn't get the ball to Mundine, but the next best tactic was the kick, a genius kick by Bradley. Look at the bump, use the hip and the elbow, and away he went. He hasn't got express pace, but he had enough to get through Colomouta, sizing up the situation. Donnelly in support. The great pictures. The mind's ticking over. Look at the timing of the kick. Beautiful. And Brett Dallas couldn't foot it with Anthony Mundine, who had the full head of steam.
That's a skill in itself, a right foot kicker kicking the ball back in field from that side. Well picked up by Mundine. That's a play we highlighted in the paper this morning. Bradley on the short line side. Nathan Brown and Bradley have a great combination, even though they haven't got much room in which to work. Bradley that time being able to stand over the top of Colomouta. Mundine was on the inside. Rod Silver did a very good job of shielding the inside pass, forcing Bradley wide, but such are the skills of the modern day player. Now the ball's never dead. Tremendous kick inside. Anthony Mundine, I didn't realise he had that much pace, but he certainly put a gap in the race of the line. Great play by Graham Bradley. He loves that short side.
The man they call the Penguin. Conditions made to order. Now Bartram. 11 in, 18 out, and that's wide. Very much so. St George in the shadows of half-time, leading by 8 points to 2. Bradley ran straight over the top of the Bulldogs, and then watch that kick. Mundine showed blistering acceleration.
He's had a fine game too, Mundine. 11 tackles, heavily involved. Nearly scored the first try of the game in the opening minutes.
Maybon. About a minute and a quarter on the clock. Stevens. Smith to depart the club at the end of the season. He's had a very good run with St George, Brian Smith. And from what I can gather, a very popular coach with players. Be replaced by one of the great St George players of years gone by. That man, Rod Reddy, the Rockhampton Rocket. Mistake by Goldthorpe. Penalty. He's penalised for throwing the ball away. 30 seconds left on the clock.
Daryl Halligan, one of the great sharpshooters of the game. We'll get a shot at goal here. I'm not sure if it was thrown away. Hetherington seemed to come in and knock Goldthorpe, which knocked the ball loose. Goldthorpe looked bemused when the penalty was given, but Halligan is 39 metres out. Conditions are a bit tricky though, the wet ball.
It's had everything this semi-final or quarter-final, hasn't it?
Been a great game, Rabs.
I don't know whether great's the word, but it's had enough to keep us entertained. I hope it's entertaining you people at home. 9 cameras taking you right through the quarters and the finals of the last Winfield Cup. One of the game's great goal kickers. He went past 1,000. I think only about 19 or 20 have done that. Here he comes. Didn't quite get it, but it's enough. It's enough for the Flags to go up and 2 points. Half-time is with us. St George 8, the Sydney Bulldogs 4.
I'll tell you the biggest shoulder pads, Jonathan Docking.
2016 Formula One World Championship, live in HD. Formula One, Fox Sports.
Stage set for the start of the second half. And Daryl Halligan it is. He starts. Wayne Bartram replies for St George, and a driving tackle. Jason Hetherington. Strong little rooster. And here's that tackle again. Takes him on the shoulder, drives with his thighs, piles him into the ground. Saints, some players taking advantage of a dry jumper. Now Barnhill it is that comes out to the 40-metre line, able to unload. Mundine, he's lost it. And the Bulldogs a chance to spread it quickly. Timu.
The times they've been able to offload in traffic, Saints have looked very, very dangerous. Unfortunately then, Mundine trying to do something special, dropped it. That's an ordinary play the ball there by Dimmick.
Darren Britt then flung into the ground by Stevens from Hetherington. They come across. Gillies just outside the 20-metre line. As the Bulldogs come to the left. This is Matthew Ryan, who was put into the game very early through the misfortune of young Glenn Hughes. Now Dimmick. It came off St George. And again Dimmick kicks for Stevens to dive on it for the Dragons. Now the Dragons with their captain Mark Coyne making ground towards the 20-metre line. A sloppy play the ball. Goldthorpe scurries away. And Steve Roach with his half-time report. Are you there, Steve?
Yes, Brian Smith pretty happy with St George's first half performance. He said they've made a number of breaks that they've got to learn to finish off. You don't get that many chances in the semi-final. He said try a few high balls for Silva. It's all been along the ground so far. The big news to come out of the half-time thing is Tallis is on report for biting. So we'll see what happens about that for the Bulldogs. Their coach, Chris Anderson, he was all right. He said they've got to get more alert when they've got the football. He said reckons there's a bit of value on the inside ball, but you've got to be there to support that play. He said silly penalties, holding down and laying in the ruck have cost him. They've got to cut that out.
All right, Steve, thank you for that. And I would take it that Glenn Hughes is out of this game. As it goes across now for Lamb, he comes back and they go down a wide blindside with Dimmick. 40 metres out for the St George line, and here they come from the sin bin. Lamb over, Polomauta across, and now Matthew Ryan got through one, but not through Mundine. The last floating pass out to Lamb took an age. They keep it in the hands, and Timu off the boot of Dallas. Half a chance for the Bulldogs. Maybon, well, he grasped the ball in the field of play, and then the impact of the tackle has taken him in goal.
And that's better play from the Bulldogs. Some good sustained attack. The inside balls are coming, and they're making some good ground with them. Dallas, nice kick on the end of that attacking raid, and Maybon did well to cover this up, let me tell you.
Line drop out, taken on the feet firstly by Brett Dallas. Season of mixed fortunes for him. Representative honours, and then a test jersey, and then of course that terrible knee injury. It's Dean Pay. Pay is able more often than not to give you a quick play the ball. Darren Brett, 9 metres out from the line. Hetherington, and plenty of players in motion. Dimmick pulled down by Stevens. The last, Terry's with it. It goes high. The uprights might become important in this play, but they don't. Marked and brought back to the 20 for the restart.
Chase is a little bit slow there from the Sydney Bulldogs team as Donnelly makes 9 metres through the tap.
Crowd groaning, calling to the referee for the Bulldogs being inside the 10. Goldthorpe, another exhibition of the slipperiness of the SFS. Tallis, been involved in this game in many dimensions. Dean slipping an inside ball for Barnhill, and then Brown, and then Tallis, and Tallis. He's away from Hetherington, turns it in for Mundine. He puts on a step. Here's a chance off the boat. Goulet, and taken by Halligan. Oh, that was nearly the work of a messiah by Halligan. Ooh, how close was that, Gus?
That was close, closer than you'd like it. Great work there from Gordon Tallis on the edge of the ruck. Wet weather football, keeping the ball alive. Tony Mundine, he there beats Rod Silver easily, gets the one over the top, just couldn't get a hand on it. Maybon had no alternative but to kick the ball, and Halligan's done a genius job to get that.
Well, he did, because he'd gone in to cut off the play and then had to turn and chase out. He's saved them a certain try there.
Here's little Rod Maybon. 30 metres away from the Bulldogs line. They go down the blind. Barnhill held on the 20. St George supporters sensing that the break might be coming. Bartram, 12 out. Brown, Goldthorpe, Stevens. Slammed down on the 10. Ball comes free. Ward is standing on top of it. He has no hesitation in putting a scrum down.
Stevens saying to Eddie Ward, look at the replay on the big screen at the SFS. Lamb a ball and all tackle, and there's Lamb's hand in there.
Well, he don't play for 15 years and learn nothing. Terry Lamb realised they had to come up with something. He also realised that a try to St George now puts them beyond reach. He was probably even prepared to sacrifice the 2 points if in fact he was caught. He took the challenge there. He didn't want the try scored to put him in more than 6 points in front.
There's Robert Ralph now. He spent a short period in the blood bin after he was taken out, not in possession again by Gordon Tallis. This is an interesting question. What if he had been taken out of the game entirely by the Tallis hit? I personally thought Tallis got off a bit light with just a penalty. Lamb, I saw a trainer talking to Terry just a couple of seconds back. A long, hard discussion with the Bulldogs captain.
I wouldn't be surprised, Ray, if they move in one wider from the ruck. He and Polomouta have swapped from the side in the program. Lamb's been playing half, Polomouta 5'8". I wouldn't mind thinking next time Canterbury go on the attack, you'll find Terry Lamb back in a more customary role of 5'8".
We're on the St George 40-metre line, and we're in the second half, the second of the elimination quarters. Goulet, no gain in ground for St George. Now, this man that has offered them so much quality, Mundine. Halligan was riding shotgun for Silva. Finished up with the push in the back. Now rounded up by Zisti. 8-4 the Dragons, coming up to 49 minutes. Lamb at 5'8". Matthew Ryan in the centres. Now Lamb a dummy half. Back for Gilly. That's the Darren Britt, I should say. 35 off their own line. Polomouta turning it in. Now we've got Gillies. Last tackle for the Lamb kick. Decides to keep it on the ground. Was he taken out late? He's called for a penalty and got it. He's penalised Jason Stevens for tripping.
He's an absolute genius, Terry Lamb. If you don't think he played for this, he had the opportunity to kick long. As soon as he knew he got near the defence, he puts a little one in, hoping for the body contact, and then plays it for all it's worth. Very intelligent play by Terry Lamb. He knew what his side needed at that stage. Very strange decision to kick a goal from 40 metres out in these conditions. I suppose we're talking about one of the best in the game. 4 points behind on the scoreboard.
Jason Stevens, a rest for him, and Troy Stone in 28 goes on. One of the good young St George players. Goulet has come off as well, and Jeff Hardy has gone on. Well, Daryl Halligan, I mentioned earlier, went past 1,000 career points last week. Only the 19th player to do that, and the first since Greg Alexander last year. From 39 out, it's got plenty of length, it's got direction, and 2 points. They edge a fraction closer. Back at the Sydney Football Stadium, 8-6 the score, 8-6. St George over the Bulldogs. 28.5 minutes to go. Hetherington wrapped up by Stone. Stone and Hardy, fresh men on for the red and whites. Dimmick's kick. Maybon bringing it out.
That's much better stuff from Canterbury. Even though you're behind on the scoreboard under these conditions, you've got to be very, very patient. The tendency is to try and push the pass because you are behind, but in these conditions, you've just got to wait and wait. Tuck the ball under your arm, take it forward, kick long, and just hope to come up with a drop ball down here at the right end of the field.
This is Hardy now. 28 out from his own line. Dragons by 2. Tallis takes 2 defence men and still unloads. And Maybon is wrapped up by John Timu. The last tackle now. Goldthorpe on the blind side. A rebound and 6 more tackles, says Eddie Ward. He's decided the ball was played at David Barnhill. Held by Britt and Lamb. Brown directs play to the left. Bradley. That's the 40-metre line just behind them. Jason Donnelly. 8-6. Saints by 2. 53 minutes gone. For Goldthorpe to keep it low. Not going to find touch. The winger's coming down the ground fast, Zisti, but Silva is out to his own 10-metre line.
Great chase by St George as Dallas slips over. Ooh, gets hammered by Barnhill.
Front rowers love those little wingers that come in to hit the ball up, don't they?
Dimmick.
David Barnhill.
David Barnhill.
I reckon his eyes lit up when he saw that coming.
Britt. Now Dean Pay. Where's Gordon Tallis? Almost sense that when Dean has got the ball, Tallis is looking for him. Polonau's kick turns Maybon around. Back in the scoreboard corner.
Yeah, it's kick and chase for kick and chase now. Both these sides have settled in where the ball's got to be played. I think we'll see too many risks taken for the next 10 or 15 minutes.
Hardy. Down the right of the ground. And now Stone. 2 more tackles left on this set. Barnhill.
A lot of confidence shown by Brian Smith in young Stone. I mean, it's a vital knockout semi-final here. He's taken off Goulet and Jason Stevens and brought on a young fellow. Great confidence shown by the coach in this young man's ability.
Just looking at these, both sets of forwards, as this arm wrestle continues. 5 tackles kick, 5 tackles kick. And forwards are slowly but surely taking longer to get back in the attack line.
Yeah, they have to be getting tired. The Bulldogs only just got back on side 3 of the forwards, and the Saints aren't going much better. Both teams, of course, preying on a mistake down in their opposition's danger zone.
This is where the talk's important. Perhaps Steve Rhodes can let us know who's talking the loudest at the moment. When you get tired, one side will stop talking, the other side will sense that and just come on a little stronger.
It's virtually the Saints at the moment, Gus, that are really talking it up. Noel Goldthorpe, as you know, organises everything that his players do, and he's right into Gordon Tallis at the moment.
So this Bulldog, Simon Gillies, unable to play the ball, so he's moved to play the ball. It's across now for Terry Lamb. And the kick bouncing 35 away from St George's line, and Maybon comes back to be tackled by Jason Hetherington.
Darren Britt, one of the hard-working Bulldogs forwards, has been replaced by Mitch Newton, jumping to number 28, the fresh man on.
Coyne goes away from dummy half. Brown links in. Oh, what a good tackle! Terry Lamb. That was a beauty. Now Hardy. 56.5 gone. 8-6. Dragons. Those just in front. They've got the only try on the board. Goldthorpe goes to the air. And taken nicely by Silva.
2 big plays there in the space of 30 seconds. Terry Lamb, he'll get you a penalty when you want one. He'll strip the ball when he thinks it's necessary. And there he's, as Steve Rhodes said, Seldy's side was a little quiet, came up with a tremendous hit. Now Rod Silva's backed up his captain with a great take to give him a restart from the 20-metre zone. 2 big plays there in the last 30 seconds.
The Bulldogs have made Couple of changes. Newton is on, Britt is off, Price is on, Ralph is off. Find Stephen Price in the headgear in 27. Lamb pushes on. Palamauda drives Timu in. Silver links up. Support from Price. Lamb is with him. 28 out. The Dogs. Lamb. Long pass for Halligan. From one end to the other. First one, then the other. Dimmick's kick. Donnelly goes back and forces the 20-metre tap.
Well, we haven't seen a decent high kick all day, you know. These wingers have been standing out there and they've just taken them easily because there's been no pressure. The kicks haven't been high enough.
Gee, I thought that pass from Donnelly to Maybon was forward. Would have been a big call. I do fancy it was forward. Brought a big roar from the Canterbury supporters. This is Stone. Price lines him up. They're near the halfway. Goldthorpe looks to be cool. Of course. Here's a chase down the ground by the captain. Silver's away from him. And then he's been rounded up by Mundine. Dallas.
Well, the fullbacks and wingers have just got to keep their cool, haven't they? It's a game of patience. There's nothing in the scoreline. Both sides have settled into a kick and chase game. You can hear Terry Lamb screaming out on the field, just be patient, be patient. It'll come. Don't try and force it.
Pay on the 30-metre line. And he's lost it. He's putting a scrum down and giving St George the feed.
So is this the mistake St George have been waiting for? Is Dean Pay going to ground in possession? And that is a cold loss, that one. You can't blame anyone.
So, this is what it's all about, the arm wrestle. Work for them to make a mistake. They used to call him the super sub. No longer. Tallis puts a dent in them. Now Bartram. And that's the 10-metre line in front of him. Wide to the right. Brown. 12 metres from the line. Now Goldthorpe. Back in for Mundine. Back for Barnhill. Shovel down and Maybon. Oh! Dimmick rattled him up. Now Brown. Maybon. Bradley. Well, St George.
Great defence.
That was sloppy by them by the same token. Matthew Ryan goes for the pedal. Saints have come up with it. Brown to play it. An hour of the game has gone. Coyne. Brown. 30 out. This is sudden death football at its best. Stone. Goldthorpe. Maybon. The little fullbacks living up in the back line. That's where they're at. Barnhill. There's not a lot of petrol in the tank of some of these forwards. The Dogs now. They keep thinking that it'll be one of the fast men that could run the length of the field and win this game.
It's so hard to score tries by squeezing balls out in this type of weather. I know we saw a try last night from Newcastle on tackle 2 or 3 with a chip over the top. We saw one try today, Graham Bradley putting the ball on the toe for Mundine to score. I've got no doubt that the tries are going to come from kicks, and you may as well do it early in the tackle count when wingers and fullbacks are up and aren't ready for it. This type of play like Dimmick's just displayed, trying to squeeze balls out, is not on in this type of weather. You've got to be really steel-minded. You've got to be patient, kick early, no matter where you are on the field, because that is the element of surprise.
Well, I think St George's problem has been, look, they've been throwing a lot of passes, but never to men in better position than themselves. You know, they're all flat-footed, throwing the balls back to a man who's standing there under all sorts of pressure from the defence. I think it's only going to take someone like a Rod Maybon or a Noel Goldthorpe to take 3 or 4 steps backwards and say, you know, look, there's going to be a chance here. I've got to hit the ball at some pace, and he'll get through the gaps.
They've got terrific runners. I mean, Gordon Tallises and these people love to hit the ball at pace. They've just got to set up, charge into the line, hope to drag a few in, little chip and chase, little grubber kick behind the line. This is mistake-type football.
Big Bradley is inside the 30, but he's outside the touch.
As soon as you push the ball to the edges, it is very, very hard. I think St George are playing a little silly at this stage. They're in front on the scoreboard. They just need to keep putting the ball down towards the in goal and keep Canterbury embedded there. It's Canterbury that they should be coming up with these mistakes.
Well, Bradley got rid of Polamander again, but Gillies was the man, the big tough second rower coming over the top, which forced Bradley out.
17 minutes on the clock. And in the commentary box, the state coaches with us today. The big fella on the sideline, Stephen. Saints by 2. Good one, this one.
Oh, outstanding game of football. There's been some great performances. We haven't mentioned him that much, but Simon Gillies' defensive effort has been outstanding. And also for St George, another player we haven't mentioned that much, David Barnhill has made tremendous yardage for the Dragons.
Gillies is in front by a country mile on the other forward, Steve. Believe it or not, John Timu is second top tackler, 21 behind Gillies, 24. Newton, a one-hander for Timu. Halfway line in front of them. Right for Lamb. Long ball. Ryan. They've got numbers on the right. They needed quick hands. Polamander. Lamb keeps it going to the right. Gillies puts a kick in. Maybon.
And in back play, Gordon Tallis and Terry Lamb having a tete-a-tete.
Terry Lamb searching for another penalty. He's trying absolutely everything, the little captain.
Jolting tackle there by Gillies. Hetherington gives him a pat. Hardy.
Comes Lamb.
Look at them. The Bulldogs are lifting.
Lamb again, right in the meat of that. He's trying absolutely everything. He tried to bait Gordon Tallis there to bring the linesman in so they could get the ball back. Now he's in there with the heavy defence trying to lift his charges. I get the feeling here St George might be next to come up with a mistake. They're not going anywhere with the ball, as Paul Borton said.
Brown puts over a delicate kick. Silva read it well. Carries it back, 45 out from the Dragons line. Bloodbin coming up.
Yeah, that's the kick that Phil's been talking about, but unfortunately for Saints, it was David Barnhill chasing it instead of a speedy back as Troy Stone looks like heading to the blood bin. Jason Stevens back onto the padding.
Chip by Brown. Rod Silva, all day long, he's been precisely where he was required. I guess that's his job. They've got to make one mistake in this type of football, though, and it's good night, Irene.
St George's only appearance at the stadium this year, Ray. They were beaten in the last 30 seconds by the Roosters on a weak and bleak day, so...
Fancy you remembering that.
I just thought I'd bring that up for all the St George supporters.
Lamb turning it in. Dimmick slammed down by Stevens over the top of Mundine. Now Hetherington away on the right. Referee saw the tackle, said it wasn't late. Maybon.
Still a better tactic though, isn't it? They've just got to be patient and wait for the mistake.
Donnelly. The Bulldogs, I said it earlier, I think they've lifted, if anything, in defence. Tired maybe, but some of these tackles are driving St George back. 10 metres out from their own line. And he's called the forward or the knock-on. That's what they were looking for. Is this the chance for the Bulldogs?
The Saints, they've been leading all game. This is desperation stuff by them when they don't need it. They're not behind on the scoreboard, trying to force the ball 8 metres out from their own line. Ward calling out a few people now, courtesy of the touch judge there, Martin Weeks, has come in.
Well, it's Tallis and Lamb. It goes way back. It's almost in another chapter. Gordon standing there looking down at Terry with the Steve Roach eyes.
You just said you weren't serious, Terry, were you?
See, Gordon stood on Craig Polamauta's hand, and he objected, and then Gordon stood there, wanting to throw a couple, and then wouldn't bait again.
Pollamauta might have got one on his whiskers. Now, the Bulldogs. Can they snatch it? Silver into the back line. 18 metres out. Matthew Ryan. Mundine, Barnhill. They make the tackle. Working it to the centre. They go back to the blind side. Pollamauta pulled down by Bradley. Centre-left defence for Bradley. Hetherington. A little misunderstanding with Mitch Newton, the big number 28. Couple of tackles left. Hetherington along the line for Lamb. He's on a run-around mission. Dean Pay! He's over! He's over! Dean Pay scores! The Dogs are in front!
Looking for one defensive lap, one missed tackle. The Sydney Bulldogs, and they found it out wide. Saints didn't have the numbers. Lovely ball by Terry Lamb. Look at Pay, he's got 22 metres to go. They hung off. They went for Timu. Man with the ball, and there's the missed tackle from Goldthorpe. Dean Pay's had a great game.
Just as we predicted earlier, as soon as they got in good attacking position, Terry Lamb parked himself too wide out on the edge of the ruck in his normal 5'8", ran the ball across field. Great cutout pass, had Mark Coyne going infield. And Dean Pay playing a little wide, but still with great ball playing ability. Stood the defence up, got one-on-one with his man. Hint of a shepherd there on Mark Coyne, didn't allow him to come back to Dean Pay, but I think it's all right. Great strength.
That camera is shooting out of the corner. A dead front-on shot might have shown you a different picture. It looks on that corner camera as though there's an obstruction. That was a picture taken by the camera right on the corner. I just suggest to you that the angle might have been misleading. Oh, look at Halligan. Halligan gets another 2. The blue and whites are rejoicing. 12-8 now. Back at the football stadium. Same ball game, just a different leader. The Dogs, they led 2-0. Then they squared at St George. Then St George, they dictated, they led. But now, late in the game, under 10 to go, the Dogs are back in front. The veteran captain, he'll keep doing that now. He'll be soaking up time, forcing scrums, soaking up the minutes.
I don't know if they've had a better player today than that man there, Terry Lamb. He's better than everything. He's come up with the big plays when they've been needed, driving his team. His last dream in rugby league is to win a premiership as a captain.
Over the years, Fatty, the best wet weather footballer in the game, Terry Lamb. He squeezed that try out of St George. He just kept his side going forward. Be patient, be patient, be patient. It will come. They finally got the mistake and the scrum winning deep into St George territory. 3 tackles later, he's put Dean Pay over for the try.
Not only that, Phil, I put it to you that the mere fact that he kept supporting Dean Pay, defenders hung off Dean Pay because of the presence of Terry Lamb. He didn't score the try, but he might as well have. This is Stevens. 40 out from his own line. There's 8.5 on the clock. And Tallis is ready to run through a brick wall. Brown kicks ahead. Zisti's after it. Silva again. He's copped a knee or a boot in the ribs.
He's had a great game. Both fullbacks have worked very hard today, and Rod Silva has been on the end of many dicey situations. None more so than this one. A good little chip. I still don't understand why both sides haven't bombed the wings and the fullbacks.
40 metres away from their own line, the Bulldogs, with a little comfort zone, 12-8 lead. Lamb again puts himself up the front of the stage. Maybon smashed into the ground by Gillies. 28th tackle for Simon Gillies. Goulet. Mark Bell, 29. Oh! Lamb has let one go after Bell let a little one go while lying on his back. And it still goes on, this dislike for one another.
There'll be no time off here either.
Which way will the penalty go?
It's still working down the clock.
Will Bell let one go?
Well, in that case, the touches have seen it right. Well, Terry's got 10 in the bin for retaliating. If the touchy has seen it right, then the Bulldogs should get a penalty, but no, it's gone to St George way.
Well, the penalty was awarded for the high tackle in the first instance.
Righto. Terry's in the bin. That's it for the game for him. Down to 12-man Saints. Will they come storming back into it? If I remember correctly, Ray didn't Saints beat the Bulldogs early in the game in the last couple of minutes.
At Cogra.
That's right.
You're quite right. I made the comment earlier, the closeness of the score line between these neighbouring clubs. It looks like it's on again. 7-6 it was the grand final in '85. 22-18 this year. 12-8 currently the Dogs. Goulet. Now Canterbury with 12 men. Their captain is gone. Brown. 5 3/4 on the clock. Stevens double pumps it. Barnhill. 22 out. High pass. Goldthorpe turns it in. Stevens and Barnhill. Barnhill back into the traffic. And he's lost it, has he? Bulldogs ball.
So once again, that's been their problem. They're passing, they're standing, but to men, you know, not in very good position to run with the football. As soon as they're getting it, all they can do is stand and look to pass again.
Newton out to the 30-metre line. The event of a draw, 10 minutes each way. Extra time.
The experienced men like Dean Pay and Jim Dimmick must assert their authority amongst the Bulldogs' ranks now. Try and close it down.
I don't know about you blokes, but this has got that grand final touch about it, hasn't it? Tension of sudden death football. There's nothing like it. Dimmick rolling it over the sideline. He takes on extra responsibilities now. Ooh. Scrum on the St George 40-metre line. Ward checking the 5 on the Canterbury back line. Mundine. Bartram. Now Zisti. Maybon.
They're not going to do it from down here. They've got to get themselves in a foot race with some stage, probably down Halligan's wing.
Goldthorpe, 7 short of halfway. Tackle that by Stephen Price. They go wide. Coyne. Now Goulet. Mark Bell. Oh, Coyne, Brown, and Bradley, but he's ruled a scrum, has he?
He's going to knock on the inside here, the ball drifting forward. From there, from Nathan Brown, although he's facing backwards, he's claiming the ball travelled forward off his hands.
No doubt that he's right, my opinion. So, The Bulldogs, 3 minutes to go, in front by 4. Hetherington works the blind side for Gillies.
Just a matter of control the ball, keep it under your wing. Don't give up anything dangerous. That's exactly what you don't want. There's no need for it. There is absolutely no need for it. There's 2 minutes to go on the clock. You're in possession of the ball and 4 points in front. You invite St George back into the game now for a last throw.
Oh, how would you like to be one of the coaches, Phil?
Well, it happens to us all. Happened to us all as players, Fatty, didn't it?
Dimmick is blowing up and saying, how is that knocked forward? You've got to agree with the young man. Now St George have got to go wide. Goulet just into Canterbury's territory. 12-8. Bulldogs in front. Goldthorpe swallowed by the Bulldogs' defence of Mitch Newton.
I think we'll get your bomb this time, Fatty.
Stevens. One-handed pass to Goldthorpe. Rolls it in behind Halligan. Oh, misunderstanding by the Bulldogs.
One tackle to go.
St George on their last tackle. Mundine and Brown. Brown rolls it in. And Canterbury clean it up.
They're going to get another shot here.
Players lifting themselves off the grass.
A mix-up here by Halligan and Silva. Donnelly, all he could do is dive on it. There's one tackle left. I thought they might have run it. Safety first by them, and this is it. This is it.
That bounce has cost them valuable time. Maybon. 1 minute and 10 seconds. Saints, it looks like they're gone. Bartram, Barnhill, 40-metre line. Ryan hangs on with Polamaunda. The Dogs with 12. Brown, Goldthorpe, they cut out Goulet, they find Tallis. Tallis gets rid of Halligan. Timo makes the tackle with Dimmick.
Great strength there, Gordon Tallis. He was in the grandstand for sure there. Fought his way back in field.
Goldthorpe for Brown. Around the back for Bell. Back for Barnhill. Taken in the defence of Ryan. 30 seconds on the clock. Brown's pass for Goulet. Inside the 20. Who wants it? Tallis has got it. Throws it in field. Play on for Zisti. Pull down 12 out.
Here we go, Fatty.
18 seconds on the clock. The last. The bomb. Fat man's been waiting for it. There it is. Oh, Dallas has lost it and got it back.
Scrum, it won't get packed.
So the clock will see there is no more. It's all over. St George are out. The Bulldogs are in. Tremendous suspense. Great tension. Nothing like it. Sudden death football at its best. This was a grind. 12-8. 1 try each. 4 goals to 2 the difference. Pay got the try that won it. 12-8. Hope you enjoyed it. Brilliant stuff. Gillies was tremendous. That's him on camera. What did he do? 31 and 10. The forlorn look of Scott Goulet. One they had. One that they let out. Been no joy for that young man, Jason Stevens, here at headquarters. The end of the season for him and St George, and for Brian Smith. We wish him well as he journeys to England to continue his coaching.
On behalf of all the Footy Show team out here, we wish him a very good night.
Tonight, Bulldogs v Dragons. Oh, yes, Peter Tunks. Remember him? We're ANZ Stadium, also right here as part of Retro Round on Fox Sports.